Welcome everyone.
35, wow.
Baruch Shechianu, V'Kiyamanu, V'Giyanu Lazman Hazeh, to the start of Masechtas Kiddushin with the help of Hashem. What an amazing way to usher in Elul, to start this very positive and beautiful Masechta. It's very easy in this Masechta to have in mind for our wives. After all, that's what this Masechta is all about. We want to thank our sponsors of Masechtas Kiddushin, Baruch Ian, Lili Nishmas Esther Bas Yomi, Yaakov Chaim Ben Abba, Avram Ben Shmuel HaKohen, and that he should have a refuah shalema b'sei Shechel Yisrael. And the sponsorship is also being shared by Aaron Swade and Shimon Deer. Aaron Swade, Lili Nishmas, Chana Bas Shmuel, and his sister Freda Bas Shaul. By Mark Frankel, L'Refuah Shalema for Miriam Sarah Bas Tzipora, and by my Talmud Berich Goldwasser for Hakaras HaTov, and for what Hashem did for his family. And he and Shimon Deer want to say a special tefillah for the Chaylim, especially for our Chavrei Hadaf, and for all of Klal Yisrael. We've spoken about the fact that Kiddushin comes after Gittin and not vice versa. And we said that the Welt says that Hashem created the refuah before the Makkah, the cure before the Makkah, so that if needed, there should be a get in case the Kiddushin does not go well. We want to welcome in now Saba, Aaron Swade, Mark Frankel, Dr. Guy, Mordechai Sultan, Mo Kushner, Eddie Chazan, Dr. Block, Chaim Lerner, Ruvain Pollack, and a very, very special royal welcome to Rich Lenner. Rich, it's wonderful to have you. Welcome to our Zoom family. Rich is also a member in our shul in Fairways. We're very happy to have him, and we're very happy to have you on our Zoom. Shimon Klein, Baruch Ian, Yisrael Fisher, Marshall Castle, Irving Fishbaum, Michael, Shelley Zeitlin, A.B. Spry, Nachman Chapler, Yitzi Muller, Moshe Jackman, Chaim Lerner. Chaim, it's good to see you for the beginning. We missed you very much last night. Menachem Yamansky, Menachem, it was very good to have your father last night. Itchy, it's great to have you. Pesach Siegelman, Moshe Lehman, Avram Schenkman, Richard Rosenzweig, Berish Gesserman, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg. Ilya Shutman, somebody's text here is blocking my screen. Oh, Dr. Ruvain Guy, great to have a father and son team. Gedalia Engel, wonderful to have 36 Zoomers for the start of Masechtas Kiddushin. 2 times Chai, David Helfgott on Kol HaLashon. So the Mishnah begins where it all starts. Ha'isha niknes b'shloish drachim. A woman can be acquired by her husband in 3 ways. V'kaina es atzma b'shtei drachim. And she could regain her freedom in 2 ways. Niknes, she's acquired b'kesef b'shtar u'b'biyah, through money, or shava kesef, which nowadays we use a ring, a shtar kiddushin, or biyah, or with an act of intimacy. However, the Gemara frowns greatly on doing this. You understand that we need edus for kiddushin. Obviously, having edus for biyah is not a very tzniistic thing. So it says, Rav, we'll learn later on, Rav mangid Amanda Mekadesh Babia. Rav would give Malkus if somebody was Mekadesh Babia. But it is one of the three ways. Bekesef, how much money? That's always the question. How much money? How many times does Marshall hear that every day? How much money? So, Beishama Yaimim bedinner or b'shava dinner. But a dinner, this is a dinner of kesef, which is a 25th of a dinner of gold, or the equivalent. It could be the equivalent in bales of cotton. Or Beisil says much less, a pruta, which is a small copper coin, or b'shava pruta, or the value of a shava pruta. We said it could even be with date refuse, as long as it's the value of a pruta. V'kami pruta, what is exactly a pruta? Echad mishmayne be'isra italki, 1/8 of the Italian isser, which was well known. V'kaines atzma, and she frees herself to once again be permitted to marry anyone, beget, either with a get or le'aleinu b'misas habal, with the death of the husband. Hayavama, if Reuven was married to Sarah and Reuven dies without children and Sarah falls to Shimon, so Shimon acquires her Babia, Yavama Niknas Babia, because that's the mitzvah of Yavama Yava Yaleha. V'kaines atzma, if she falls to the Yavam, she cannot marry anybody else because of the lav of Leisia Eishes Amesa Chutza Ishzar. How does she remove that zika, that levirate attachment? She could free herself from that, the chalitza, with either Shimon performing with her chalitza or ubamisa sayavam. If Shimon is the only brother, then with his death, then she is free to marry anybody else. So now the Gemara says, Ha'isha Niknas, the second parak starts Ha'ish Mekadesh, which could have very well been the way we start this Masechta. Ha'ish Mekadesh with three things, Kesef Ishtar. So why does it say over here that the woman is acquired? Ma'ishnach, the Tani Ha'ish Niknas, or Ma'ishnach Asam, and why in the second parak does it say the Tani Ha'ish Mekadesh? Says the Gemara, Mishim de Kabayla Misnei Kesef, because it wants, so the Gemara's first question is not about why our Masechta starts with Ha'isha and the second parak starts with Ha'ish. The Gemara's first question is, why does our Mishnah start with the word Kinyan while the second parak starts with Kiddushin? And that, after all, that's the name of the Masechta, Kiddushin. It's not Kinyanim, it's Kiddushin. So it should say Ha'isha Niskadeshes or Miskadeshes. So it says the Gemara, Mishum de Kabayla Misnei Kesef, because it wants to say Kesef. And how do we know that a woman is acquired with money? The Kesef Minole Gamar Kicha Mistei Ephraim. We learn out Gzeir Shava from the purchase of the Maris Machpelah. Ksiv Hacha Ki Yikach Ish Isha, when a man takes a woman. V'ksiv Asam, and it says over there, Nasati Kesef Hasada, I gave the money for the field. Kach Nasati Kesef Hasada, Kach Mimeni, and you can take it from me. So it says by stay Ephraim, huh? Yeah, but I have something. It's okay. It stays. It says by, maybe make it a little colder here. It says by stay Ephraim, by the Maris HaMachpelah, it says also Kicha. So just like over there, Ephraim sold the Maris HaMachpelah. Avram bought the Maris HaMachpelah for 400 shekel kesef oivela soicher. So also a woman is acquired with kesef. Now what does that have to do with niknas? The kicha ikre kinyan. And such a purchase is called a kinyan. The chsiv hasoda asher kon Avram, the field which Avram purchased. Or, as we turn to Daf Beis Amud Beis, inami soda isba kesef yiknu. Fields are acquired with money. So the Gemara now at this point answers that the reason why it uses the term kinyan is because the source for kesef is from the Marsa Machpelah, from the Lashon of Kicha, purchase, and a purchase is called a Kinyan. Now, by the way, why do you think of all the places that we should learn, it's an amazing thing, of all the places that we should learn that a woman is acquired, do we need to be so morbid and learn it out from the purchase of a grave? I mean, the Rebbeinu Shalom could have had us learn it out from anywhere. Learning it out from the purchase of a grave, I mean, even Mark Frankel could have thought about learning it out from the purchase of flowers. A grave? You know, what we're making like some kind of an analogy between a wife and a grave. And I don't want to hear any pshatim over here. Right? So I believe that this is something that Rav Miller says often. And that is, when a husband chooses a wife, he should know that it's a long-term investment. It's for this world and for the next world. And his proof of it is that in the Maras Machpelah, the Avos and the Imais are buried zugos, in pairs. So therefore, the juxtaposition is that when a person makes this acquisition, he should know that it's a very, very long-term acquisition. So he says, look before you leap. And once you leap, make it work. As we welcome in Philippe for our 39th Zoomer of the evening. 39th Zoomer of the evening. You could
taste the bourbon.
You could see Marshall is really tasting that bourbon. He's really tasting that bourbon. Now, Marshall, is the time for you to flex your muscles. You know, show what you're made of.
Where's my bottle of bourbon?
I drank it. Sorry.
The rabbi knows. I didn't know that you got the Zoomers on. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen 40 people since I started coming.
There must be more yet.
Okay, get your friends. Come on, let's go.
Well, did Shimon Deer come on yet? He's not on yet. Let's go for at least 40. Call him up and tell him that he's number 40. Now, so therefore, Tanya Isha Niknas. So says the Gemara, okay, that explains why it uses the lashon of Niknas. But why doesn't it say, the second parak says Ha'ish Mekadesh, so say over here Ha'ish Kaina. We're still not out of the woods. Says the Gemara, the Gemara asks it in a different way. So if the language is Kenyan, so then in the second parak where it says Ha'ish Mekadesh, why doesn't it say Ha'ish Kaina? V'nisnei hasam Ha'ish Kaina. So the Gemara says Meikara Tani Lishna Daraisa. First, it uses, there we have Yehuda from Yerushalayim, says the Gemara, but somebody dropped out, so we still only have 39. So the Gemara says, why doesn't it say in the second parak Ish Kaina? So the Gemara says, Meikara Tani Lishna Daraisa. First, it uses the big biblical language. And the biblical language is, since we learn out Kicha, and Kicha is considered a Kenyan, so that's a biblical language. Ulebesayf Tani Lishna Darabanan. Then it uses the rabbinical language, which is Kiddushin. Now, why is it called Kiddushin? Or my Lishna Darabanan, the Asala Akule Alma Kehektish. Because when he says the Hariyat Mekudeshesli, that means that she's like Hektish, and she's also to everybody else, just like Hektish is also to everybody else. Of course, the rabbinical language of Kiddushin is for a different reason. And that is that we try to invest into our marriage holiness. In other words, a person could get married for only lustful, physical pleasures. So we know that ish ve'isha, shalom beinehem, shchina shruya beinehem. The husband and wife, if there's shalom, then there's shchina. Oh, that's kedusha. So that's the lashon of kiddushin. That's the lishna d'Rabbanan, to let us know that marriage is an opportunity for holiness. And although you've heard this from me probably more than once, but this is really a place to repeat it. And that's the famous story of the little tube of water that Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach used to keep in his pocket. Different Gedolim kept different things in their pocket. Rav Miller famously kept in his pocket seeds. He was mispoiled from seeds. He said, you take this item, which is dry, no pulsation, you put it in the ground, no matter how you put it in the ground, the roots go down and the tree goes up. It's not like a battery that if you put it in the wrong way, the flashlight won't work. No matter how you put the seed into the ground, the roots go down, the plant comes up, it has no life. From it comes a tree with thousands of seeds every year. It's a remarkable thing, a seed. It's a remarkable thing. It's a coupon. Have it and get thousands for free. So that's what Rav Miller kept in his pocket. But Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach kept a tube of water in his pocket, and when he got to the portal, the front door of his house, as he was going to enter, he used to take it out, take a little water, and smooth out his beard. So I know that, some people are going to say, oh, he did it to greet his wife, but that's not why he did it. When somebody asked him that usually the custom is to do that when you're leaving your house, not when you're entering your house, he said, well, I'm going into my home and I live with my wife with Shalom Bayis. So I'm going in to greet the Shechina that's in my home. Now you have to understand that Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach was coming from the Beis Medrash. That's what he did the whole day, right? He learned, he taught. And in the Beis Medrash, afilu echad yoishev v'oisik b'Torah Shechina kenegda. So he was the whole day with the Shechina. But there's a special level, intense, concentrated Shechina for someone that lives with Shalom Bayis. And that is Kiddushin. That is holiness. That's the Lishna d'Rabbanan. Now, but we're not finished yet. Now we finally get to the question. That was the obvious question. Why does it say Isha Niknish? If it says in the second parak it starts with him, Ish Mekadesh, so here it should say Ish Kaina. Mishum de Kabayla Misna Seifa V'Kaina Es Atzma, and she acquires herself, Bidida, talking about herself, right? Because she acquires herself with, she acquires herself, and there, so the Gemara says, Tananami Reisha B'Dida. So therefore, it says in the Reisha also about her. And since it says in the Sefer that she acquires her freedom, so it's talking about her. So therefore, the Reisha says that she gets acquired. Says the Gemara, but we could have done that. V'nisnei ha'ish kaina o makna. That a man acquires her and gives her back. Because he gives her back with a get. Says the Gemara, well, that won't work with his death. The second way that she acquires her freedom with his death, that he doesn't do. He's not freeing her. As a matter of fact, he would rather choose to be alive. Min shemayahu demaknila. It's heaven that frees her. That's a warning that Rabbanim gave a person who was not treating his wife well. He was abusing her, and the Rabbanim said that he should give a get, and he refused to give a get. So the Rav would tell him, look, there's two ways that the Rebbeinu Shalom could free this woman from your behavior. Either with a get or with you dying. So you better give the get if you don't want the other way to happen. This woman doesn't deserve this treatment. Says the Gemara, V'iba Yisema, another reason why it doesn't say Ish Kaina. Itane Kaina, if Kaina is a authoritative terminology, Ish Kaina, I would think, I feel about Karcha, that he could acquire her even against her will. As we welcome in Moshe Lehman, but we're still hovering at 39. I would think it's even against her will, because a get could be given against her will. Tana isha niknes the medata in only with her consent, shalei medata loy, but not without her consent. Now we know that the Torah is beloshin zacher. Torah is generally in the masculine language. So shalish, va'isha niknas b'shalish drachim. Shalish is feminine. So the Gemara right away wonders about that. Ma'yer yedetani shalish lishnei shloisha. So the Gemara says, you know why? Because it says the term derech. Mishum the kabbalah misnei derech. The derech lashon nekevahu, and derech is feminine. It says shloisha drachim and shalish drachim, and derech is feminine. It says about the Torah, Voidata lahem es haderech yelchuba. The Torah informs you the way that you should go. Torah is instruction. The Torah informs us the way that you should go. Says the Gemara of Elah, the Tanya, the Gemara says, it says, B'shiva drachim baitkin es hazav. In 7 ways we inspect the zav, because the zav, when he sees issue, if it was from some external reason that he sees the issue, he doesn't become tummy initially. For example, he overate, he got a shock, he jumped. So why does it say over there shiva? It says drachim, which is feminine, nisnei sheva. It should say 7, which is feminine. Says the Gemara mishum de kabbalah misnei derech, because now the Gemara says the opposite. It wanted to say derech, v'ashkechan derech dikrei lashon zachar, and derech is also masculine. Dichsev b'derech echad yotzu alecha. The enemy will come out against you in one highway, u'b'shiva drachim yanusu lefanecha, but they'll flee in 7 different directions. So the Gemara says, so make up your mind. Ihachi kashi kra adadi. In one place, it uses derech as feminine, and in Dvarim it says in masculine, b'derech echad yotzu elecha, v'kashinami masnitzan adadi. Our Mishnah says, ha'isha niknas b'shalosh drachim, which is feminine, and by Zav it says shiva drachim, which is masculine. So the Gemara says, now, kraya adadi lekashin. As we welcome in Moshe Jackman, still 39. What is going on over here? We can't get off the 39.
What the malachos we're dealing with now?
Thinking about you, I'm thinking more about Malchus. Anytime, Marshall. So the Gemara says the psukim are not a problem. Kroya adadi loikashin. The psukim are not a problem. Hacha de b'Torah kai. Here we were talking about Torah. The Torah ikrei lashon nekeva, and Torah is feminine. The chsiv Torah is Hashem temima. The Torah of Hashem is complete. Meshivas nafesh. Meshivas is feminine. Meshivas nafesh. It restores the soul. So therefore, it says chsiv la b'lashon nekeva. That's why vaydat lahem es haderech yelchuba is feminine. Hosam de milchamakai. There, where it's talking about war, right? One way they will come out against you and they'll flee in 7 directions. So there, it says masculine. The darka shall ish la'asais milchama, because the way of man to engage in battle, vein darka shall isha la'asais milchama. It's not the way of a woman to engage in battle. So therefore, kasav la b'lashon zachar. It says it in the male. Now, I want to stop here for a moment to reflect on, first of all, there are ignorant people that the Torah is guilty of male chauvinism. It is so wrong, and it is such a mistake. One of the things they say is, a woman can't even give edus. A woman is pasul edus. Only a man could give testimony. It's like a woman is a second-class citizen. Now, there is an opinion that the women were punished at their pasul edus because of the sin of Chav. There is one such school of thought. It's based on many mefarshim that bring that down. But there's fact of the matter is that when a person gives edus, and here we have Shimon Deer. Shimon, we want to welcome you in. Shimon, we welcome you in, and in the name of the entire shir, we wish you a mazel tov on the birth of a baby boy. Zaycha kashem shenichnas lebris, kein yikonis l'Torah l'chuppah l'maisim tovim.
Amen. Thank you all. Thank you.
Now, one of the reasons why a woman doesn't give testimony is because testimony demands drisha v'chakira, and it's a rigorous treatment done that makes a lot of people squirm, and that's not sneistic to put a woman through, especially by men, and that's why a woman doesn't give edus. Not always is that a negative. It's a positive. It's a respect to women. Now, why is the Torah in the feminine? You have to know, feminine indicates softness, soothing. And that's what the Torah is. As the Rambam says, Shekol Torah kula nitna lash shalom b'olam. Shnema its ways are ways of sweetness. When you think of a woman, you think of sweetness. All its paths are paths of peace. Also, there's another reason, and that is, a woman is a makabel. A woman is the one that accepts. That's why women are compared to the moon. The moon is makabel, the light from the sun. The job of Torah is that we should be makabel. We should accept the Torah. We're not teaching the Torah. We're learning from the Torah. We're a makabel. So that's why the Torah is feminine. But there's another great lesson from this pasuk that the Gemara quotes, which I think is so important for everyone. Torah Hashem temima mishivas nafesh. People, there's $1 trillion industry that Marshall is trying to tap into. There's $1 trillion industry that Shelley wants to join. There's $1 trillion industry of how to relax. That's $1 trillion industry to relax. People are looking every which way. How am I going to relax? Do I relax with a jacuzzi? Do I relax by going boating, golfing? You know, how am I going to do it? I'm going to go to a symphony. How am I going to relax? Toiras Hashem Temima Meshivas Nafesh. The Torah rejuvenates the soul. That's why Ramosha, of course this is a very high level, but that's why Ramosha at the age of 8, he was in Russia, the pastime was chess. At the age of 8, Ramosha gave up chess. Rabbi Yaakov still played chess in his 80s, maybe 90s in Oshraga. He still picked up a game of chess in Oshraga. But Ramosha stopped at 8. Because to revive yourself, Torah is Meshivas Nafesh. Now, says the Gemara, now what about the stira in the Mishnah? Here it says derech, and it says lashon nekeva, shalosh, and by zav it says derech, and it says lashon zachar, shiva. So what's pshat? So the Gemara says that's also not a problem. Masnisan adadi also loikashin. And for Shimon who's just joining us, we're on the last narrow line on Beis Amid Beis. We're on our way to already finishing Kiddushin and Seder Nashim. We're on our way. And whoever starts with us, it's a big, big koyach. I remember when Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky did the Haskalah in Madison Square Garden. He said it's a big thing to start Shas because I'm maskil b'mitzvah aimim ligmar. So you start with us. We should all be zeicha to finish Kiddushin together with Gesund in Tavshin Pei Dalet. So the Gemara says, Masnisan adadi loikashin, hacha de legabe ishakai. Here that we're talking about the woman that she's acquired, ketani labalashin nekeva. Hasam de legabe ishkai, 7 ways to check, and I believe, still, look at this, we can't get 40. Every time we get a 39th person, somebody drops out. What's going on over here? Hey, Barbach, welcome. It's good to have you.
It's a conspiracy against my bourbon.
Well, that's for sure. It's a conspiracy against you, but I don't know about the bourbon. Leave the bourbon.
My self-esteem is worth more than a bottle.
Leave the bourbon out of it. Says the Gemara, Hasam dilagabi ishkai, by the Zav, where it's talking about a man, the darka shall ishli badik, because a man needs an inspection, be'ein darka shall ishli badik, because a woman that sees blood during her Yemei Ziva is tamei, even if it was ba'inus, even if she overate, even if she jumped. Da isha nami ba'inus mitama, because a woman becomes tamei even if it's an involuntary situation. Tani lashon zach. Now, my time at Tani Shalosh Mishum Drachim. So now the Gemara says, why does it say Shalosh because of Drachim? Nisnei Dvarim, say Dvarim, which is the masculine, V'nisnei Shleishim. Again, remember, as Rashi explains, the uniform way is that the Torah always speaks B'lashon Zachar, so let it say Dvarim and let it say Shleishim. Mishum de Kabbalah Misnei Bia. It wants to say one of the 3 ways is Bia. Or Bia Ikrei Derech, and Bia is called Derech. It's not called a Dover, it's called a Derech. The Chsiv Derech Gever Ba'alma, like the way of a man with a young lady, Kain Derech Isha Mina Efes. So is the way of an adulterous woman. So you see, Bia is called Derech. So the Gemara says, Hote nach Bia. That's Bia, but there's 2 other ways, Kesev and Shtar. Kesev Shtar Ma'ikalamim. It says, well, Mishum Bia. It says Derech because of Bia. So the Gemara says, B'tani Tartei Atu Chada. if there's 3, why do we do the other 2 because of 1? Why do we choose to say derech because of only 1/3 because of bia? Says Gemara, because ultimately the aim is towards bia. Even if they're mekadosh b'kesef or with shtar, but the aim is to consummate the marriage with bia. Hanachnami tzerach bia nino. So that's called a derech. V'hibayasema, there's a different reason. Hamani Reb Shimon he. It's going according to Reb Shimon. The Tanya, Reb Shimon Aimer mipnei ma amra Torah ki yikach ish isha. Why does it say that the man takes the woman? V'loi ksiv ki silokach isha leish. That the woman is taken to the man. Why does it start with the woman? Mipnei shedarka shel ish lazer ala isha. It's the way of the man to look after the woman. Ve'ein darka shel isha lazer ala ish. It's not the way of a woman to look for the man. The man is looking for his lost article. Right? A rib was taken from him, a bone was taken from him, and he's looking for what he lost. That's why it says he's ma'zer avedasai. He looks for his lost article. This could be compared if I lost a pen. Me who looks for the pen? It's not the one that finds the pen that looks for me. The one that lost the pen looks for his pen. He looks to find his pen. So here the man, this is one of the reasons why the man pays the bill at the restaurant. Why don't they split it? Why doesn't the lady pay the bill at the restaurant? Because the man takes the initiative. The man goes to pick up the woman because he's looking for his Aveda. So therefore, suggesting Gemara, that's why it uses the term derech, because there is a certain way over here. And the way is that the man looks for the woman. Now, we already said that by Zav it's masculine because it's talking about a man. So then why doesn't it say Dvarim? Lisnei Dvarim, says the Gemara, there is a derech over there too. Hakamash Malan, the darka de Michla Yisera, it's the way of excessive eating, Lasuya Lideziva, to bring a gonorrheic issue. V'darka de Mishta Yisera, Lasuya Lideziva. It's not really gonorrhea, but it's as close as we can. The thickness of the issue is similar to gonorrhea, and Baruch Hashem, we just made it to 40. We just made it to 40.
Oh, okay, I'll take 2/3 of a case of bourbon.
No, Marshall, you gotta go to 70.
The only thing you'll get is bourbon on your head.
70.
Between you and Sam, I'm getting walloped tonight.
Ask the rabbi, tell him what I did. Gotta be a salesman to do it.
Well, he'll be nice because you're married to his mother. Come on.
Okay, Rabbi Isai. We all know it's Marshall's fault, so that's
I want my rib back with barbecue sauce, please.
Why didn't they come visit me?
So now, why does it say derech by Zav? Because it's telling us the inspection and different things would bring it on, and therefore he doesn't become tamei, because it's usual excessive eating or excessive darcha de mishti yisera and excessive drinking la'asir lidei ziva. Now the Gemara tells us one other case, and that's by an esrik. V'aditnan esrik shaval ilan begimel drachim. It says that an esrik has features of a tree in 3 ways. An esrig, it has orla, like a tree, and that's that the first 3 years its fruit is forbidden. It has neteravai, like a tree, that the 4th year you have to eat the produce in Yerushalayim like Ma'aser Sheni. And we go after when it emerges, the fruit emerges like a fruit, and not after when it's picked. Says the Gemara, so lisnei dvarim, mishum deba'inin masnei seifa uliyerek b'derech echad. Now this is interesting. Vegetables, we determine its year from when it's picked. Now remember, in a Shemitah cycle, the first, second, fourth, fifth year is Meiser Sheni. The third and the sixth year is Meiser Ani. By Esrig, we determine which year it belongs to for Meiser Sheni or Meiser Ani by when it's picked. So if it's picked in the third year, even if it emerged in the second year, it's Meiser Ani and not Meiser Sheni. If it's picked in the fifth year, it's Meiser Sheni. So, Uliyerek b'derech echad. So the Gemara says, well, say over there too, davar. Sefer nami nisnei davar. Let it say in the Sefer also davar. Says the Gemara, as we're getting ahead, nice to get ahead. Ha'asam ha'kamash malan. It's teaching us the darkei de esrig ki yerek. The way of an esrig is like a yerek. It's like a vegetable. Ma yerek darkei li godel al kol mayim. A vegetable grows on all waters. It grows on rainwater, and it also grows on irrigation. So it grows by all waters, and its year of Meiser is determined by when it's picked. Af esrig, so also esrig, darkei li godel al kol mayim. It grows by all waters, and therefore, its determination of whether it's the third year of Meiser Ani or the second year or the fourth year of Meiser Sheni is when it is picked. And therefore, since there is a matter of derech, that's why it says derech and not davar. Now, by the way, as tomorrow night, when we learn tomorrow night, we have the daf, and tomorrow we're going to try to start closer to the 8:25 time. We didn't start tonight. I had to reset up my whole studio. I just got back to the country. But tomorrow my studio will be already set up. But I want to mention that tomorrow night is also the Chumash year. I also want to mention that when we learn, we should train ourselves now to have a mind to learn, to be mekayim the mitzvah d'oraisa v'dibarta bam, because when we learn Torah Lishma, we're zeicha l'dvarim haba, we're zeicha to many things. So we want to thank you for joining us. Again, I just want to say especially to Rich Leonard, how good it is to have you join us and join our family. I'm very excited. And we are going to learn the Mishnah Yomis now, Rabbi Isai. Just...
Sure, Robert, thank you. Good night.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you, Marshall.
Starting the second parak in Rosh Hashanah tonight. Nobody go anywhere.